Hello Horror Hounds. By the time Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed, the fifth Peter Cushing-led Frankenstein movie from Hammer Studios, was released in 1969, British film censorship was a lot more relaxed than they'd been a decade or more before. So Hammer finally gets to let loose in some of these movies. A healthy splash of arterial spray up a wall at the opening beheading at the start of the movie, that same head rolling out of a hat box covered in blood, the most graphic scenes of brain surgery and surgical scarring yet seen in any of these Frankenstein movies, and of course, that scene. Of all the six Peter Cushing Frankenstein movies, I'm going to set aside the horror of Frankenstein with Ralph Bates for this series of reviews. Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed is the only title that makes sense to me. There is no curse in The Curse of Frankenstein. The notion of revenge in The Revenge of Frankenstein is woolly and ill-defined at best. The Baron in The Evil of Frankenstein is the least evil, the most good-hearted, misunderstood and benevolent incarnation of Victor you're going to see in all six of these films. In the third sequel, the Baron doesn't create a woman. And in the sixth film after this, Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell, the title of A Monster from Hell is kind of pushing the Trade Descriptions Act to a breaking point. But in this film, Frankenstein is such a complete and utter bastard that yes, you do want to see him destroyed. Which is crazy for a character that we've seen grave robbing multiple times and committing multiple murder. But in this film, he just goes beyond the pale. Especially in that scene. The setup for this is absolutely brilliant. Dr. Brandt is an amazing genius level scientist working in the same field as Frankenstein, but his work has driven him insane. Yet his mind holds the key to a vital piece of information that Frankenstein wants. In order to get to it, he must break Brandt out of the asylum he's being kept in. That breakout causes him to be mortally injured. So in order to save Brandt's life, or at least his mind, he must then transplant his brain into another body to keep him alive long enough to cure his insanity to get to the piece of information he wants. It's like a Frankenstein Mission Impossible. Just as some of the kill scenes in the previous movie, Frankenstein created woman, seemed to share some connective tissue with the burgeoning Italian horror cinema scene, and especially Mario Bava. The opening scenes for Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed also cry out Bava, the hidden killer, the hidden faceless killer, the swoop of the sickle, and especially as the sickle comes out towards the camera rolling to one side and away, the point of view shot of your head as it comes off, the splash of blood, the head being taken in a hat box back to the laboratory where there's a thief waiting there who's broken in really to the wrong place at the wrong time. The fight that happens after that with the head rolling around, the masked attacker in black, the disposal of the bodies. This really is Hammer entering with the relaxation of the censorship into the more lurid aspects of the material. I think the direction they always wanted to go in, that Italian horror cinema will take to that next level. But there's also a Hitchcock influence in parts of this film, especially the body that's been buried in the back garden and the burst water main uncovering the corpse and having to hide the body again before help arrives. That's pure Hitchcock. Hitchcock's always derived black pleasure from the tension in having to hide a body or having a situation where a body might at any moment be discovered. He'd have run many more minutes of tension out of the scenario than we get in this film. But all of this tension is designed to ratchet up the pressure on the Baron himself. Here he is at his most desperate and therefore his most ruthless, blackmailing and dominating a young couple to do his bidding, otherwise he'll expose their crimes. Cushing here, as ever, is completely in charge, acutely aware of every movement, every inflection. He slides effortlessly from the imperious Victor, lambasting his gossipy co-lodgers with snipey put-downs, to charm when he has to assuage the concerns of Dr. Brandt's wife, who's now gone missing, to ruthless control as he blackmails and dominates Anna and Carl in their own home. And just a note, a frivolous aside, on Cushing's clothes. He's always well turned out in these movies, even when the Baron is slightly down here as he is in some of these films. But in this movie, he looks phenomenal. Peter Cushing, folks, goddamn, that man can wear the shit out of a three-piece suit. So Victor, with his back to the wall, is the nastiest, the most ruthless we've ever seen him. The way he treats Carl, and in particular Anna, it really stacks up the audience against him more than ever. In all of the previous films, there have been moments where you could kind of see where he's coming from. You could kind of maybe position him as a forward thinker before his time. But here, he's just a bastard. That scene that I've alluded to a couple of times previously, the scene where Frankenstein rapes Anna, was filmed over the objections of Peter Cushing and Veronica Carlson, who plays Anna, and Terence Fisher, the director. It wasn't in the original script. It was added at the last minute at the insistence of Hammer execs, who I believe were under pressure from American distributors to add some more, God, I don't even know what to call it. It's because it's not sex, it's not raunch, it's actually horrible. However, it's not out of keeping with the Frankenstein we've seen in the first film, The Curse of Frankenstein, a man who's more than willing to use and abuse his maid and then bump her off when that becomes inconvenient, whilst at the same time using Elizabeth, his fiancée, as a front. This rape is not about sex, it's about domination, it's about power, as I guess rape in general is. It's horrific, it's nasty. I am on the side of the instincts of Cushing, Fisher and Carlson here. We didn't really need it, but it just pushes you over the edge into outright loathing of Frankenstein in this movie. And so I guess, again, this is taking the audience into brand new relationships with a character that's now in his fifth film. You thought you were comfortable with Victor Frankenstein, what he does, what he's capable of. Here he is again, doing his experiments, trying not to get caught. Isn't it a load of fun? Well, no, not really. It's fucking horrible. What he does to Anna is just another example of how he completely steamrollers people. People are material to him. They either get in the way or they help him get what he wants. And the creature in this is the greatest exemplar of that. The creature, his peer, Dr. Brandt's brain in a rival's body, is the most tragic creation of all of these 6 Frankenstein movies, just for the sake of needing a piece of information that Dr. Brandt wants. He wakes up in a different body, returns home to try and see his wife. The scene where he tries to communicate to his wife in his wife's bedroom from behind a screen is absolutely heartbreaking. And Brandt, now sane but a different man, loathed by his wife. His wife's scared of him, understandably, doesn't believe that he is her husband. The only recourse he has is a suicidal end that will also kill Frankenstein as well. So as we barrel towards the final act, we get, for the first time really, an element from Mary Shelley's novel where the creation of Frankenstein rails against his creator and aims to wreak his revenge. There's a police investigation running concurrently with Victor's schemes in this, and it's another way of keeping the pressure on Victor in this movie. The police are moving ever closer towards discovering him. That reaches a sort of peak for that plotline during the house-to-house search, when the police arrive at the boarding house to search it. But the police investigation plot does sort of fizzle out and come to nothing, and it's a real pity that it couldn't have been tied in with the big ending of the movie. And as you would expect, the Hammer glamour is in full force here. Veronica Carlson plays Anna, and at first glance it might seem that Anna's character is there to be terrorized by Frankenstein, but there are layers of subtlety that she plays there. There are impulses against Frankenstein, but for her and Carl's own survival, that become a little bit more complicated than just bad Victor and terrorized woman Anna going on there. Nothing as complex as we'd seen previously in Frankenstein Created Woman, but it's good to see that the female character in this is more than just an adornment, which can tend to happen in these movies. It's a rollicking ride. It's a testament to the will to bring fresh scenarios and fresh angles to stories of scientist tries to get on with his creations on the wrong side of the law and everything goes wrong. It's the 5th movie in the series, and it's fresh, it pulls you in, you have to watch it to the end, it engages you intellectually and emotionally. What more praise can I give it than that? So I'll end my praise and I'll hand over as usual to an alternate voice taken from the Internet Movie Database user reviews. And with all these Frankenstein movies, we are blessed with the thoughts of Jacob John Taylor 1, JJT1, my favourite Internet Movie Database movie reviewer. He says, "This is a very scary movie. It is a sequel to Frankenstein Created Woman. This one of the scariest movie ever made. Dr. Frankenstein turns his assistant into a monster. If you do get scared of this movie, then no movie will scare you. This movie has a great storyline. It also has great acting. It also has great special effects. It is very intense. This movie is a must-see. It is a true horror classic. The Evil of Frankenstein is a little better. The Cures of Frankenstein is also better. Dracula vs. Frankenstein is also better. Frankenstein Conquers the World is also better. Still, this is a very scary movie. I need more lines and I am running out of things to say."